Hello everyone and welcome back to our PGBL draft analysis. Now I know this comes as a surprise, but at least to my subscribers, I didn't really talk about a potential draft league, but I did end up joining one finally for the Sun and Moon meta. As you guys know, I've not had a good history with draft leagues because all of the leagues I've done have never legitimately completed. Now granted, some of that was because my fault. Some of that was my fault. Actually, none of it was my fault. The first one, it somewhat completed, but like it didn't go the full 12 weeks. Like we just cut it early and just like had a tournament and then it kind of won. But the other ones we never finished because either the people just dropped out or the commissioner was a scumbag, which applied to the very last one, the last one we did with the, I think it was a PGBL as well, or the PGL, or something like that. It was like the PBL maybe, something like that. I don't know. It's someone with some like guy that like invited us so he can get subs. Like it was annoying. But anyway, we are here with a with our analysis PGBL. Like I said, shout out to Root 8100. He's the one that invited me. He used to watch my streams, and he still does. But he invited me to join, and I of course said yes because I wanted to do it. And school's over, so I can have time to team build and stuff like that. Because I mean, draft leagues don't take that much time out of your week, but you know it does take some sort of preparation. You can't just like throw a team together and just win. But yeah, as you can see here, this is the schedule. We have the teams over here. You have Cincinnati Charizards, Kentucky Typhlosions, New Jersey Brobats, New York Charmanders, New York Grumpigs, Orlando Solgaleo, Claremont Clefas, who are actually in the MLPB as well, the Major League Pack Battle, so it's a familiar team there. Los Angeles Landorus, Seattle Sylveons, South Texas Sableyes, which is our interstate rival, as you see right here, and it's labeled orange. Sydney Sylveons, and of course, yours truly, Texas Rangers, coached by me. This is just the schedule. The logo will be somewhere like around here or something like that. You guys can look at it. And of course, our old Texas Ranger logo will be over here somewhere for the time being. But I wanted to go over our draft, and the first battle will actually be taking place on Saturday. So this is coming by very quickly, but I did want to get an analysis up to showcase what I did draft, in what order, and what they can do. So my very first pick, I had like the 3rd overall pick, I believe. And then, of course, it was a snake draft. So I would like get it like number like 9 on the way back or something like that. But anyways, our very first pick, I knew what I wanted from the very beginning. Usually when I do drafts, I plan for like a core of 3 to 5 mons, and then the rest I just start picking what I think I might need plus whatever like I see other teams drafting. I might need to like get some checks to those certain threats I see. So with the very first overall pick, I picked my boy, my leader, Jirachi. Of course, Jirachi's like my favorite Pokemon in draft format, simply because it's so versatile. With the stats, of course, the number one thing that makes it versatile. It could pretty much be any set you want it to be. This is like some old, a lot of these sets you're gonna see here are just like what they recommended from the past meta or this current meta today. So just ignore these sets. They're just here. I wanted this to show off like the thing here and the move sets. But very great Pokemon, of course. Iron Heads and Headbutt. You know, there's really nothing to explain there. Great stab moves as well as being able to flinch. Choice Scarf is probably the set I'm gonna be running most of the season. And then of course the coverage moves will change from there. It gets access to like like I said, a lot of different sets. All these sets could be a potential something I might bring. Obviously the sets will differ on what I need for the week, but it's just an example of how it can be like anything mixed, especially defensive, like a mixed attacker. Its move pool is insane. It's got stuff like Calm Mind. It could be a Calm Mind sweeper. It gets Cosmic Power, which something I might look into. It gets stuff like Icy Wind, Healing Wish, of course, U-Turn for great momentum. It gets Stealth Rock as well, which having an extra Stealth Rocker is always nice. Wish and Healing Wish are great support moves. Trick is a nice move to just cripple bulky stuff that can get in the way. There's just so many things you can do, so I think versatility is probably one of the best things in draft format. Being able to be so unpredictable is very nice because the opponent has to prep for, or at least attempt to prep for every possible scenario it can be, or possibility. So just a great mon. So to go with my steel Pokemon, I did want to get the fairy Pokemon next, and I picked up Tapu Fini with my free agent points. Also, I forgot to mention the draft format was had a point system. I'll try to put a link somewhere right now when I put I think the rules. But we were allowed, I believe it was 2 OU picks, 2 OU picks, 2 UU picks, 2 RU picks, 2 NU picks. I think it may be 1 OU pick. I think it was 1 OU pick, right? And then you get 400 points to pick from. So I went ahead and burned my my 180 points on the OU Pokemon with Tapu Fini. And like I said, I'll have the rules somewhere up in the beginning so you guys can look at them. But Type Affinity, of course, the Fairy Pokemon goes well with my Jirachi. It switches, of course, to Fire type attacks and Ground type attacks that Jirachi does not appreciate, as well as Dark type attacks. So, and Ghost type. Well, not really Ghost type that well, and Ground, but it depends on the mon. So, I mean, anyway, it covers two of the most common weaknesses, being Fire and Ground. Or, well, actually, Ground's not really that common. I mean, Ground's common, but this isn't really switching that well. But you get my point. It works really well with Jirachi. Of course, this thing is probably going to be a defogger like 90% of the time, because I need defog for some of the ones I drafted later on. But it's very versatile as well. I feel like at least it can be in draft format. It gets stuff like Calm Mind. It gets like coverage from like Grass Knot, which can be nice for like Pokemon that are like 4 times weak to Grass, which is always something I always gotta bring. I mean, well, looking at it, I guess the move pool isn't that fantastic, but its sets can definitely be like its spreads can definitely be key to what it runs. Like people often forget that it's base 85 speed, so it's relatively fast for a wall. So you can just you know, taunt stuff and just like wall break and stuff like that, or at least like, you know, stall break, I guess you can call it. But it's got very nice bulky stats and defense SPDF being above 110, which is very, very nice. Of course, default, like I said, is the #1 thing I'm probably going to do. Nature's Madness is a pretty good move in this format. That way it can allow some setup sweepers to get those knockouts you need. But just a great Pokemon to go with Jirachi, nothing else to say here. Misty Surge is just fantastic to prevent status and shut down stuff that relies on status, so that's always nice. And to complete my Fairy Dragon Steel Core, I needed the Dragon, and this is my 3rd round pick. I got Hydreigon, or Hydreigon, however you want to say it. The nice, very, very great Pokemon, great stats, very versatile as well. Again, a Pokemon that you have to prepare for, you know, try to prep as best as you can. You know, try to cover most of the sets it can run. But having very nice special attack and then a very respectable attack stat as well. It's definitely a Pokemon I can, you know, do a lot of damage in this format, and it's a very nice Scarfer as well. But being that the speed isn't always necessary, it gets the opportunity to not run Scarf. It runs maybe Z moves, Specs, maybe like a Banded set. I'm crazy. I guess stuff like Taunt and Roost if I wanted to as well. Use that. It doesn't get defogged though, which is kind of annoying, but it does get some great moves like that. It gets Earthquake, which I often actually forgot it gets. Bulldoze could be nice for at times. Maybe like a Z Aqua Tail could be something cool at one point. It gets a lot of cool moves. The coverage isn't really necessary because like it's dual stab plus like another coverage move can like hit most of everything in like, you know, the game. But I'm now looking forward to see what kind of set I can bring up with this thing. I already have a good set for the week 1, so you know, it's definitely a great versatile mon. And of course, it switches to Jirachi's nice weaknesses, which are Ground, Dark, Fire, and Ghost. So it switches into all 4 of those weaknesses. So it's a great Pokemon. These 3 just work so well together. Of course, I was going to try to go for something like Salamence at first because there is no restriction on Z moves. But Hydreigon works so much better. It's a great ability. It's a great ability. Levitate. Its typing is fantastic. Its bulk is pretty decent. So I feel like this core is like very, very great, and I wanted to keep building around that. So we do get a Mega. I forgot to mention we do get a Mega. I believe that's, yeah, the Mega was covered that second OU pick kind of. So I waited till 4th round, and I can't believe this mon was actually available. Like, I forgot to take a Mega because I was gonna do Mega Scizor, but it was taken instead of having like Jirachi maybe. Oh, but so I picked up Mega Pinsir when I saw it, and this thing is just it's fantastic. It's so damn good. Of course, I'm talking about versatility and like Hydreigon and Jirachi. Pinsir not so much. It's just a one-trick pony. It's got SD. It's got quick attack. It's got return. It's got close combat / earthquake. That's all it does. Like, it's just a great sweeper. And granted that it can cover its flying resist really well with like earthquake and close combat. It's such a great Pokemon, and of course in draft format it can benefit from having you know, like a setup support mons like in the back, because you know you can see what's gonna switch into it. Like when you do a team preview, like when you're building for that week, you can see what Pinsir can't touch, and then as long as you can kill that thing, Pinsir can just kill everything. So of course the issue with it is that it's very predictable. Swords Dance is probably going to be something that I run every single week. I mean, and I can say this now, people will just know it's going to happen. I'm going to try to make it as unpredictable as possible, but for the most part it's just like click SD, click an attack, and then of course it kills everything. So you know, that's pretty much all it's there for, and that's also a reason why Tapu Fini is so imperative on the team, because of having defog. Being able to click defog on anything is important to get rid of rocks for Pinsir. So You know, and of course regular Pinsir isn't really doing anything. Like Moxie's completely useless here because I have to Mega first turn. Something like Hyper Cutter could be not nice in case someone tries to intimidate before I Mega. So that's the only thing that actually makes a difference. But of course you guys know that you do have to Mega first turn in most draft formats, draft leagues. So yeah, the move pool isn't too great. You know, it's just like I said, it's very predictable, but you know, it hits you really hard. Base 155 attack, so you know, decent defense. Fantastic Pokemon, fantastic. So, in the 5th round, I went ahead and picked up another spinner, Delmise, and another like hazard remover, I should say. So, it's a really great Pokemon. I love it in using it like an OU and like UU and stuff like that. It's got very decent bulk. It's a nice spinner that can you know, spin on the most you know, stealth rockers, because usually the stealth rocker is gonna be like a ground type or a rock type or a steel type, and it can pretty much deal with all three of those you know, type users. Being a ghost type's nice, so I can have a spin blocker as well. So being a spinner and a spin blocker is really cool. Having a grass type in draft format is very important because those water grounds could be really hard to deal with when you don't have the right, you know, coverage. And of course, Steel Worker is a great ability that allows me to have a steel type move for stab. You know, Anchor Shot's very nice to catch something, trap it, and then kill it, depending on what the switching is. So it's just a great Pokemon. Only nothing else to say here. Its move pool isn't too fantastic. I mean, it's mostly going to be a physical attacker at times, but in case I'm crazy, I want to run like Giga Drain or something, or like a Flash Cannon for some reason, I could always do that. In case I have to, you know, do that. But for the most part, you know, it's a pretty good Pokemon. It's got stuff like Swords Dance, which is always nice, but for the most part, you know, it's just being a rapid spinner is probably its #1 job. But it's very nice attack. Could, you know, give it options to be a wall breaker. So very good Pokemon, and it works well with Pinsir because I mean, it doesn't work well with Pinsir that much, but you know, it's a rapid spinner in case, you know, I don't run a Tapu Fini that week. So next mon I picked up was the Regirock, which was another stealth rocker that I kind of needed. All I had was Jirachi at that point. Pinsir gets stealth rock, but I'm not that crazy. Hold on, I'm gonna set up this song real quick. I don't know why it's not playing. Anyway, okay, cool. So we're back. That was GlitchxCity. Music's the greatest of all time. So we are here with the Regirock, like I said, just a stealth rocker. It's a very nice Pokemon. It's got decent status moves and doesn't know even toxic. Most mons get that, but you know, you get my point. Stealth rock is the #1 job. It's got a very nice move pool as a physical attacker. Very nice stats as well. Defenses is off the charts. Of course, 100 SPDF is nothing to laugh at, and the base 80 HP is pretty solid as well. And two fantastic abilities as well. Very great Pokemon draft format. It's one of those, like, one of the better, like, lower tier picks, I'd say, in the draft format, just because it's you know, its typing is pretty solid. I say, you know, being a solid rock type is pretty decent in draft format, and getting with this nice bulk, like sometimes super effective moves aren't the greatest. Like the only things that can break through this are status and stab super effective attacks. If it's super effective and it's not stab, it's not breaking through Regirock. It's just not going to do it, especially on the physical side. So it's a very good Pokemon that can take advantage of weakness policy in this format. So something that might be I might do that definitely in this sometime this season. I will definitely try to do that. It does get rock polish. A rock polish weakness policy is something the opponent does have to look out for. It's versatile in that sense, but at the same time, I'm probably going to be using it as a rocker for most of the time. But you know, I'll definitely try to change it up from week to week. So yeah, that's Regirock there. Next mon I picked up was the Zebstrika. Now here I kind of dripped out because I didn't pick a UU pick yet, or I had an extra UU pick still. And after I picked Zebstrika, people in the chat, you know, Aldo Colo was the guy who had the chat. I'll have the link to everybody's channels in the description below. I'll try to make like a nice description for the entire league, you know, with all this information you guys need to see. Zebstrika, I picked it up, and then as soon as I picked it up, people were saying, wow, Raikou not taken yet. And I love Raikou, man, and I should have picked that thing up. That thing hits so much harder. It's bulkier. It's not as fast, but its move pool isn't as great, and it's not as fast, but I would have rather have Raikou than Zebstrika, but you know, I'll take what I can get. I mean, having Overheat's probably the best thing it has over the Raikou, and it's faster, but its bulk isn't helping. Its abilities are they're all pretty solid. I mean, Lightning Rod's probably better for me because I need the boost rather than the speed, but Sap Zipper can be cool as well to deal with something like a Celesteela on my face later on in the season, but I don't know. Its move pool's pretty good. Overheat, it doesn't hit that hard though. That's kind of the issue I have with this thing. But its move pool isn't great. I mean, it's decent, but it's not fantastic. Like Overheat's nice, and get stuff like Stuff like what you would call it, like bounce, that could be like a Z move, maybe a physical set later on. I don't know, for bulky grass types like a Venusaur or something. That could be something I could look out for. But besides that, it's mainly just for like having electric types nice to deal with flying types, and of course mons that are like weak to electric. That's pretty easy to say, but you know, it's just a mon that's for mainly for initiative. Volt switch is nice to have. So you know, it's, I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty good PU pick, I should say. Like, even though PU wasn't a tier we needed, NU was the lowest we went. But I definitely should have thought about it harder. But maybe you could do some work. I don't know. I'll give it a chance, obviously. It's a pretty decent Pokemon, but kind of underwhelming. Anyway, next pick we have is Nidoqueen. Now, I'm not sure why I picked this up. I actually had a friend that supports me, Aaron Barden, help me out with the draft. He usually watches the YouTube videos as well, so he'll probably hear this. He said Nidoqueen would be nice. Nidoqueen is pretty good, I should say, but this is probably one of the mons I might look into dropping or trading later in the season. But it's a good Pokemon draft format, don't get me wrong. It's got, you know, great coverage, stealth rocker, decent bulk, great typing as well. But I think having another ground weakness is kind of bad. But I don't know. I think this thing can do some work, but at the same time, it doesn't fit that well with the team, maybe. I don't know, but I do like Nidoqueen as a Pokemon. Nidoking and Nidoqueen are fantastic Pokemon in and outside of Elite draft format, just because of their typing, their move pool, and their abilities. So, very great pick for me. I believe this is an RU pick. Yeah, it was an RU pick, I believe, for this gen. So, I think it's RU still. So, very great RU pick for me. So yeah, nothing else to say here. Just Stealth Rocker, great typing, great ability, great move pool. So my next mon here, I finally picked up my UU mon, which is my boy Protein Conkeldurr. I'll have nicknames for all these Pokemon when we do the week battles, but Conkeldurr is a very nice Pokemon. In draft format, it's good because of its, you know, having coverage in the elemental punches, knockoff, poison jab, you know, superpower. I might run that at some point, maybe. Gets taunt as well, which could be something I could be looked into. Mach punch for priority is always nice because I didn't have too much priority outside of Pinsir before this, so I figured another like priority user would be nice to have. And fire types are always nice, you know, as well in format because, you know, bulky steel types and normal types I often do a lot of work in draft format, just because you know people don't have the right coverage for it. And of course, you know, Conkeldurr gets 3 fantastic abilities in Guts, Iron Fist, and Sheer Force. All of them are great in their own way. Like, I'm probably gonna be using Iron Fist and Sheer Force most of the time, but if I see somebody has a mon that's prone to doing status, Guts can be something, or if I want to use Flame Orb, that's something I will look into. But it's just a great Pokemon that I really wanted to use in draft format. So really nothing else to explain here, so we'll just move on to our next pick, being Weezing. Now, Weezing was a later pick. This is my second to last pick in the NU, so it was my second NU slot. And of course, you guys know what this thing's gonna do. This thing gets, of course, the all-powerful Memento. So Memento can allow it to come in, just die, drop their stats, and bring something in to sweep. Whether that's Jirachi, that's Hydreigon, Pinsir, Delmise, Regirock, anything. Like, I have a bunch of setup mons to my choosing. And not only that, but Weezing's just a great Pokemon. It's got great typing, great ability. Well, I mean, typing isn't that great, it's poison, but having being not immune to ground, or being immune to ground is nice. So its only weakness being psychic is pretty solid, I should say. Will-O-Wisp is always good for a support. T-Spike could be something I look into, but seeing as how I do have a Hydreigon, I mean a Tapu Fini, T-Spikes might not work well unless I just don't use Tapu Fini for that week. But I mainly just saw Memento and Will-O-Wisp and said, you know what, I'll use this thing. So Weezing can definitely be a mon I can bring from week to week and be support, and then just go Memento just to set up for Pinsir mainly. So of course that's always going to be in the opponent's mind, thinking Weezing could always set up at any point in time. So it's definitely a great mon for that reason. But besides that, I'm not sure what I'll do with it. You know, I'll definitely do my best to work with it. So final pick, I actually had enough points to take out another OU mon out of my free picks. And I picked up Magearna. Like, I know, like, I'm so weak to ground. I have Magearna, I have Nidoqueen, I have Zebstrika, I have Regirock, and I have Jirachi. So 5 mons weak to ground, but I do have 3 immunities in Hydreigon, Mega Pinsir, and Weezing, and 2 resistances being Delmise, and the or just one resistance being Delmise. But Delmise is another mon that's, I mean, Magearna's a great mon that just sets up on stuff, shift gear. Like that's probably the setup I'll be using most of the time, just because the speed is important. A Assault Vest is always nice as well, being able to switch into like very strong special attackers like Tapu Lele and stuff, just other stuff like that. Its typing is fantastic. Its bulk is off the charts. Its speed isn't that horrible for being this bulky, so it's something that's that could do a lot of work in draft format. Like it's a very like this thing is capable of sweeping like pretty much most of anything in the format outside of like Chansey, but that's pretty much it. Like this thing can hit everything with its coverage. Great coverage. Great. There's not that many moves to learn, but the coverage is nice. So like Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, Calm Mind, something I should maybe look into, but Killing Mons is good enough for it. Aura Sphere is nice. It gets Ice Beam, which is something I never really knew it got, so that can always be a nice mon to, you know, send in against like a Garchomp or a Hydreigon or something. But that's going to conclude my draft. As you can see here, just recapping everything here. Very, very solid team. Like I think my team's probably one of the like better ones in the draft. I mean, I say that coming from me, but I feel like it's going to get exposed early on in the season. I just feel like the early on rounds were really solid, being like these few Pokemon. Well, I messed up Pinsir, but later in the rounds, I kind of pick stuff that maybe might not work, but that's usually how I go in draft formats. So I'm hoping the season will go well. I really do hope it will go well. You know, I'm gonna try to win as many games as I can. You know, we're here to have fun. So most of the people in here are just, you know, young content creators that just want to have fun with each other. So, you know, that's what I'm going to try to do here. Of course, the first week we do have is coming up. It'll be uploaded on Saturday. We'll be taking on the Sydney Sylveons, and I already have pretty much already got my team built for that person already. And then, of course, we only have 10 weeks here. So, and of course, we're in divisions. I just don't remember what division we're in. But anyway, I do hope you all enjoyed today's video. Again, that was a draft recap for the PGBL. Again, I'll have all the links to everything relevant to this league in the description below. And of course, I hope you guys look forward to week 1, and I hope we can take a championship, hopefully. I feel like we can with our team. I really do. I do feel like we can do it. It's a little slow, a little weak to ground. Some weak lower tier picks, but I believe in their abilities and in my ability to coach. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And of course, shout outs to Aaron Barden for helping me out with the draft. Shout outs to Root 8100 for inviting me in, taking me in. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. And I'll see you guys week 1 this Saturday for week 1 against the Sydney Sylveons. Take care. And go Rangers.